Alright guys, welcome back to the shop. So this week I plan on making a mallet. If you remember last week or on my last video, which I guess was 2 weeks ago now, I actually broke my old mallet while I was using it. It's a pretty crappy mallet to begin with. It's made out of a weak wood. I put no effort into making it look nice. It was strictly made to be functional. And I made it only for the purpose of hammering in the joinery on this workbench when I was building this bench. So this entire workbench is made out of cedar. I just use that because that's what I have a lot of on my land. So I used the Hayden lumber maker on my either the attachment for my chainsaw to make these into 4x4s and 4x6s and then laminate them together. Then I cut this Roubeau styled joinery for the top and assembled the whole thing. But anyway, in the process of building it, I needed a mallet. And these boards, some of these 4x4s were a lot longer. And from one of those offcuts, I actually made my mallet. And it, like I said, it was just really a crappy mallet made out of cedar, which is a terrible wood to use for a mallet. But like I said, I had it. It was part of an offcut. I had it laying around and I needed it. So I just kind of threw it together. I'm surprised at how long it lasted actually, because this thing is made, like I said, of a pretty low quality wood. Cedar's a pretty soft wood. So anyway, I'm going to put a clip on here showing me actually breaking this thing. But I need one. I need a mallet. I use it all the time. And so today I'm going to be making a new one. This one will end up going into the wood stove if we get another cold day. So I'm going to be using this 3x3 red oak post that I cut from my own land again. I also used the Hayden lumber maker to make this. I don't have a video of me making this one because I made this years ago before I ever started YouTube. But I do have another clip of me using the lumber maker. So I'll try to insert that on this video so you can see kind of more or less how it's done. Again, it wasn't, what I was cutting in that video wasn't this. It was actually, I think it's a 6x6 chunk of black walnut is what I was using it on at the time. But I just want to put the clip in here to show you kind of how it works. If you want to see more of that, leave it in the comments and I can show more of that kind of stuff because I use it all the time. But anyway, this thing, when I cut it, I did not seal the ends, so of course it split. So you can see there's a huge crack here. It's split all the way down to about right here. And then on this end, there's a little crack here, but there's a pretty good size crack down to about here, which leaves me with about 6 to 8 inches of usable wood for the head of the mallet. And for the handle, I'm hoping I can get enough out of this, even though it's cracked. I'm hoping I can get enough out of it to actually use for the handle. You know, it'll be more longwise this way than straight down the length of the wood. But we'll see. If I can't get enough out of this, I will find something else to use. I'm thinking I can probably get enough out of this. So I'm going to start by planing all this down flat because it's very rough. It's not square, it's just kind of more or less square. So it's going to take a lot of work to get it square. I will probably, there's this little bit of bark here I'm probably going to end up having to leave. A lot of that will come off when I plane this down on these two faces, but there still will be a little bit left, and I'll just leave it because it's, you know, this is a mallet. It's a tool I'm going to be using to beat on stuff. So having I'm not making it to be beautiful. So it's made to be a tool to be used. So I'm not that concerned about a little bit of bark. This face seems like probably the best face. It's the flattest. So I'll probably start off on this side and make this my my reference face for everything else. So everything will be squared up to this face. I think it's high right here in the middle. It's pretty flat. All right, I want to square this over. Onto this other side. I'm going to start off without even trying to make it square. I'm just going to make it as flat as I can and get all the saw marks out. And then I'll come back through and make sure it's actually square. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. It's hard for me to tell in here, but it is high on this side. You can see there's a gap where you can see light over here in this corner. Maybe you can see that. Have to keep checking till I get it right. Still a little high. It's actually kind of a lot high. it's a little high on this side, and then it kind of shifts over towards the middle. It's a little bit high right here. So I'm just playing mostly on this edge and then kind of come over and get to this side. Alright, now that I've got all my surfaces flat and square, I'm going to mark out the head of the mallet. And I'm going to I want this face to be the bottom because it has this bark on it. So these will be sides and this will be the top. So I want to mark the sides out with a little bit of an angle to them. Trying to see where that crack goes. The crack goes to about here, but I'm going to call it here. If I can find a pencil, we'll say it goes to about here. And this crack goes to about right here. So we'll say about more or less here. Now that's way too big. I don't need that much space, but that's how much wood I have to be able to work with. So I want the mallet to be sloped out. Both faces of the mallet I want to be sloped out at a little bit of an angle. And I'm just going to make up the angle. That right there looks good to me. I don't know what that angle is, but that's what I'm going to cut it at. And I'll do the same thing over here. I'm not going for any particular sized mallet. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. So probably about right here. Square these lines over. Mark the angle on this side. And then square those lines over. Alright, so that is going to be the mallet head. So now all I've got to do is cut that out. And there's the mallet head. So this will be my handle material. I guess I could probably use that. I don't know. I'm going to have to trim this down to something that roughly looks like a handle. Sure would be nice to have a shave horse. It's gonna have to go on my list of projects, because I definitely need one for this kind of stuff. I need a shave horse. Alright, so I've got it pretty close. I mean, it's definitely thicker in some places than it should be, but from here I'm close enough. I don't want to cause any more tear out and rip out any big chunks. So from here on out, I'll just be using rasp to actually give it that final shape. And I'm going to start off with a big farrier's rasp to kind of take off some of these bigger chunks that are these thicker spots. Right here's a big trying to make sure I get it straight while keeping it round, more or less. That's pretty close to done. I mean, this top bit's going to be cut off anyway, so I'm not worried about it. Probably going to cut it off about right here. I'm going to try to clean this up a little bit with a spoke shave. Alright, I gotta figure out where I want to cut this off at. Probably about right there. Some firewood. I gotta find the middle of this. The easiest way to do that is to put a straight edge on the corners. And just mark where they intersect. And I'll do the same thing on the top. So now I need to trim this down to 1 inch all the way down to about here. I got these 1 inch dowels, and I'm just going to trace a 1 inch circle across the top of here, so I kind of know more or less what I'm going down to. That is just about perfect.